Hi, Kate. Let me start over. Hi, guys. It's Katie Harris, owner and CEO of Nursepreneurs. I am here with the concierge nurses, Charlene and Kimball. You guys want to say hi?
Hi,
Hi, everyone.
So today we're talking about, we're getting very, very close to the last day that you can sign up for the Concierge Nurse Mastermind. So tomorrow the doors are closing completely. You cannot get in until later this year if you missed this now. So what we want to do is answer some questions, tell you kind of what's up for the Concierge Nurse Mastermind, you're going to get. So we have it's a 6-module course. It's live coaching. Kimball and Charlene are your coaches, and they are amazing coaches. We have a back office setup that we show you how to set up systems, to set up your business, to do your branding, to do your Instagramming. Oh my gosh, your local marketing, everything you could possibly need, we have in this program. And we are the world's largest group of concierge nurses. So we're very excited about this. This is a well-oiled machine. What do you think, guys?
I agree. Yes.
yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we are taking some questions today. We were here yesterday. I had some internet issues, but all good today. And we want to take any of your questions, concerns, maybe you're on the fence, give some more examples of concierge nursing and take it from there. So let us know in the chat if you have any questions, and if not, I will challenge some of you guys to answer some more concierge nurse questions. Mm-hmm. So one of the questions I've gotten in the past, we've talked about peds, we've talked about neonates, we've talked about case management, we've talked about post-op care. So I heard in LA there is a woman that does something that's called aftercare, and I thought it was for kids after school. I was like, oh, maybe it's an East Coast thing that we call it aftercare. And when she was describing it, I'm like, oh, that's concierge care. And basically, she doesn't even go into patients' homes. They rented a facility where they keep the patients in like kind of a luxury type facility. And I think that's, it's one way to group a lot, it's kind of like an extended PACU at some level, but there's so many different variations and iterations of what you could possibly do. I think it's fascinating.
So would that be similar, Katie, to like a recovery house?
Yeah, I guess so. Tell me a little bit about the recovery house.
Yeah. So the recovery house is where people, instead of going home because they don't have anyone there to care for them, they would be taken to a very discreet place. It's like a home, but on the inside, it's really plush and nice and hotel-like. And there's always a nurse assigned there with maybe an LPN or a patient care tech or a second person to help. And so, they may have 3 or 4 rooms, and so they're getting great care because there are a low amount of patients or clients for these nurses to care for, and it's very comfortable. There's even an extra place for maybe one guest in case they come from out of town and bring their sister, or their if they have a husband that's just not medical, or something to that effect. There's a kitchen, so there can be food prepared there to help with the healing and the everything that's needed for good healing. So it's a very discreet place, and I think it's a fantastic idea. I've been thinking about it a lot.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, but if you want to start kind of lower overhead-ish, you might even partner with some of the luxury hotels or even just regular hotels, and because a lot of these surgeons have set time periods, right? Like they operate on Tuesdays or they operate on Thursdays, so when you're going to get patients. It's not like a random free-for-all. And you can negotiate some rates. You can negotiate like having adjacent rooms and then taking a few at a time.
Yeah, yes,
Mhm.
yes. I've already talked to one hotel actually for some of my clients here that give them like a corporate rate. And not even for this idea. This was just because I was starting to get people from coming from out of town a little bit more often. So I went and had a talk with a local hotel that's actually really excited about that. So yeah.
And what was that like? Was that hard to reach out to them? And did you initiate that contact, or did they find you?
I did. I initiated the contact. I told them what I did. They were not quite sure at first, had to get back to me, but but what they told me they could do was at least give me a corporate rate since it was my business that was coming in, and these clients, I would, do the referrals and make sure that all of my clients will come there.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So it was good. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's nice because, and then it gives you that association. Like if you're associated with like the Marriott or Four
Mhm.
Seasons and you have that on your website, I think that it makes a big difference to me.
Yes.
Like, that you're working with brand names and people that we already know or companies that we already trust.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I need to put that on my website. I don't have it there.
Yeah, you do.
I need to add that.
There's one question so far. Do you have to be an RN?
For the concierge service?
Yeah.
No, you don't have to be an RN.
No, you don't.
No. I mean, you need to be some kind of medical person to take care of patients. So I recommend you being some type of nurse, but you don't necessarily have to be an RN. But what you do have to do is work within your scope of practice. So you have to think about what can you do for certain patients that they may need within your scope of practice. So.
Yep. All right. So Charlene, maybe talk to us a little bit more about your experience with like Reiki and energy and aromatherapy.
Yes, I know. It's my
I
passion.
love these.
I do too.
I love it. I love to do it. And initially people will contact me for the medical part. Most of the time I'll get contacted for, I'm having a colonoscopy and I don't really want, my friends driving me. And it's a very simple, just come home, sit with me for 4 hours. And then I just kind of set the room up with a diffuser and put some relaxing essential oils in. And then I will do Reiki on the person while they're recovering. Of course, I get their permission beforehand. And most of the time they're in such a semi-light sleep right afterwards when they're getting settled that we'll do a full Reiki session or a mini Reiki session. I have to play it by ear. And then I always like to have nutritious meals that I've instructed them to get the ingredients for beforehand. So they're ready. And then I will, and Kimball, like you said, where you sometimes leave your customers a gift, I do the same. I'll always bring fresh flowers and leave them in, like the tiny bud, the tiny bud vases you can find at like Whole Foods or something. So I leave that. And then when I call and do my follow-up, they start asking me about Reiki. Like, do you just do Reiki? And I'm like, absolutely. You can make an appointment and we'll just do Reiki. And then I also blend my own aromatherapy essential oil bottles, like the rollers, and I sell those. And those are the ones I will use on a patient. And once I use them on them, they stay with the patient. And then when they run out, they're like, ooh, do you have something for nausea? Or what did you use that one time? I slept like a baby, that type of stuff. So it just kind of evolves into more business, really, just the little add-ons that I do. And then it'll just evolve into, it's just establishing the relationship. And can you talk to me about healthy diet and, my cholesterol's up, what are some things I need to do? So it just kind of evolves into all of the areas that I love to work in. And I have, office hours where I'll try to pack everyone in on a day and a half or 2 days and do the surgeries the other days, or have someone else do patients on that day. So yeah, it's just so rewarding. I love it. Love it.
Yeah, I think that's a big deal too, because like a lot of times we all want to kind of stuff everything that we could possibly do into a business and try and market that, and that's very difficult. But
Right.
if you lead with a dominant stream of income, which in this case
Yes.
is concierge nursing, but
Yes.
then they find out that you're amazing and you can do 100,000 other things, they're more willing
Right.
to like work with you on that end, and I think that's very
Yes.
powerful.
Yeah, it does.
So Patricia says that she's an LPN with 15 years experience. So I would say she would fit right
Yes.
in with this.
Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
absolutely. Mhm.
Yeah. So, I mean, because a lot of these patients or all of these patients are being discharged to home, right? So they're going
Yes.
home to, nobody or a friend or
Right.
Right.
who knows what.
Right. And you're basically going to be following instructions that they were expected to follow themselves.
Right.
So,
Their spouse or their daughter or
yes,
adult
yes.
child
Right.
with
So,
no medical experience. So
Mhm.
this would absolutely be great for you.
yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
And I would think that, the real marketing angle here is not, it's just anybody. It's like it's a medical professional who knows what to look for. And as an LPN with 15 years experience, you
Yes.
know what a post-op complication looks like. You
Yes.
know when to call the surgeon and say, hey, you better take my call and you better listen to me because,
Right.
because you know.
Right.
Yes.
And I think I can imagine a lot of family members they're scared to call the surgeons. They're like, oh, I don't want to bother them.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
They absolutely are. Yeah.
Right. And they don't know that something is wrong. But
Right.
Yeah.
it's probably normal that, I've had to change the dressing 3 times.
Yeah.
Because
Right. Yeah. Normally too, the doctors that I ever deal with, they absolutely love it that I call them. They would much rather get a phone call about their post-op patient, their friend post-op patient, than for them to come back in or go to the ER or something to that effect. They would much rather me call them and talk to them, and they can tell me exactly what I need to do or what's going on, or that they appreciate having our services with their patients. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I would say that the surgeons themselves are much more business oriented in that manner, and they appreciate the return of that business etiquette from us. So and they appreciate that level of service because they put their careers on the line every time they go into the OR and take care of that, take patients' lives into their hands, right? Like they're extremely protective, like the good ones, the decent ones are anyway. But very, very, and that's one of the reasons why it's hard to get into a surgeon's office in the first place. And that's something that we help you with because they're so protective of their patients and they need to know that you're going to provide like really great, high standard quality care.
Yes, absolutely. I do agree with that. And if they get you and you take care of their patient, it only takes one good time.
Yes.
And, you do a great job. That patient goes back to that office and tell them how much they love you and how great you were. Then that's it. You're set with that doctor. They're going to start sending you patients like crazy.
Right. And all of a sudden you're like the only person in the world who can do that job.
Yes.
Which is what it was like in the hospital too. It's like as soon as they trusted you, it's like they trust it. And you're like, all right, look, there's other people in the hospital that can do the same exact thing.
Yes. And that can be overwhelming, just as as overwhelming as anything else. But at least you're busy, you're working, your business is making money, and you're building a name and reputation for yourself in the community, because that doctor is going to talk to another doctor.
Right.
And it's just going to keep going on and on, as if you're they're going to just keep telling their friends about you, and before you know it, you'll be taking care of the doctor's family.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you'll be having you'll be needing so much staff, you won't even know where to find them. So
that's something else that this program helps you with, is it helps you to get a team together, to hire the nurses you need, hire the help, because if you just want to do like 1 or 2 cases a month and supplement your income, you can potentially do that. But the other problem that you're going to have is that once that surgeon trusts you, they're going to want to send their whole service to you, and you're not going to be able to do that by yourself. So you have
Right.
to make that decision early on. Are you doing one-off cases and just some supplemental income, or are you going to run like a real business? And in that case, you're going to need staff, and you need to learn how to manage the staff and hire them and all that kind of good stuff.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And that right there is a job by itself. It's great. It's great because you can take on more clients, and your business makes, it makes money. But yeah, you definitely have to learn how to manage your staff.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say about that.
There's a fine line sometimes between sometimes I'd rather make a lot less money and have fewer people working with me.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Me too, Katie.
Me three.
I thought about that a lot.
Yeah.
But I love my clients. I love the doctors. I do. I love all of that. So
Right.
I love the one-on-one care that I can give, and it's so rewarding. You don't get that in the hospitals. I don't get the same rewarding feeling. So so it's hard to let that go. So I just try to start over every day. Just
Yes. Yeah.
So something to do with this program, right? Because we have over 40 nurses that have come through with us, and we have all the nurses that are set up and running and making money. There's a lot of there's people in different areas. There's nurses that haven't really started yet. There's nurses who are making $15,000 to $20,000 a month and more, and there's nurses that are expanding in all different areas. So you get that kind of group conversations going on about, these are the issues and challenges I've run into. I thought I wanted to do this, but now I don't, and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. And there's the support group is just priceless, honestly. When you can bounce ideas off, or I text Charlene and call her all the time.
Same here.
So there's just nothing like it. It's priceless, because there are some things that you're not gonna know how to deal with or what to do, or even as far as making more money, adding services to your business, even positive things like that. There was a nurse, that we worked with before that gave me great ideas, that she was doing things in her concierge service, and I started doing them in mine and have been very successful at it. So, just that, talking to colleagues and communicating and being a part of something bigger than me. You know what I mean? So,
right.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about the concierge nursing, because, home care, even private duty, those are very reclusive, exclusive, very expensive to get into. You need at least $150,000 to $200,000 to do a good home health agency and get it accredited. Private duty is going to cost you $30,000, and nobody wants to tell you how to do it. And so a good portion of that money before you even start your $30,000 process is trying to figure out the right forms, the right people, the right blah, 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 blah. But with concierge nursing, this is something from the get-go. We've been a community and helping each other out, and not worried about Kimball stealing my stuff or my ideas, or Charlene, stealing my patients. And even in Kimball's got a student in her own hometown that she's teaching.
I do. I start thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to do a great job with her, because, my name's on the line. She's got to have a great business, but ultimately she's going to be my competition. So oh, well, yeah. It's all right. It's okay. I can handle that. We're all a part of the same group now. So it's okay.
Absolutely. I know.
Yeah.
So, but all right, guys. So if there's no more questions, what we do want to say is that, check out nursepreneurs.com. The questions are starting to come in, so I don't know if that was a delayed response or. Okay, is there a concierge business that can take insurance?
You could if you wanted to, but none of us decide to do it, because it will actually limit how you can practice.
But would insurance pay for? I guess they'd pay the business, right? I mean, how would that work?
They would, but they there would be specific criteria that your patient needs to meet. And also you would be required, there's restrictions on how much time you can spend with them or how much they'll reimburse you for that.
Yeah.
So actually everyone that has gone through our program is doing self-pay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think it's a better model too,
Much better.
because I mean, I've billed insurance for years for my operative procedures, and I can't tell you, like, the same exact procedure, same exact insurance, I could get anywhere from like $50 to $500 and more. You know, it was like ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, I just had no idea if ever I was going to get paid and what amount. So you can't.
Right.
It's hard to build a business around that.
Yeah.
Very hard.
Well, plus, if you're doing insurance, don't you have to start following all these guidelines like
Yes.
you know,
That's what I'm
Medicaid,
about.
Medicare, CMS, all these special guidelines that we're trying to stay away from. So,
Right. Exactly.
yes.
It makes
What I
it fun.
Yeah, and you know, I've talked to Pam Taylor about this because she does the private
Yes.
duty nursing, and that private duty, you know, is very very similar to concierge nursing in a lot of ways because it's too is self pay, but they use like mostly companion care people in there. But you know, she warns against mixing insurance and self pay because when the accrediting bodies come in and they want to like go through all your stuff, if you have separate patients and some are insurance and some aren't, you get into a lot of trouble because the non-insured patients, not that they're not insured, but or if fee for service patients are held to the same exact rules as the Medicare Medicaid patients. So it's you know, it's a cleaner bill if you just stick with one model and either do insurance, and if you're going to do insurance, I would push you towards you know, private duty and home health, which again, those are start at 30,000 to get all the certifications and licenses that you need, or you know, get started in concierge nursing, and then if you decide later after you have some money coming in that you want to start doing some of these Medicaid cases and stuff, you can get state certified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like the self-pay model.
I do too.
I do. It's much easier.
So much easier.
And you don't have to hire another person for billing and coding.
Oh my God. And they take 10% off of your bill, you know, like anything that you bill. Well, there's charges, of course, and then there's bills, right? So you might, you know, when I request payment for a surgery, it's usually like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, and then I get $50, and they get 10% of it.
Yes.
Oh my.
6 months later, you know, it's just so painful.
Yeah.
But the patients like it better too because they don't want to mess around with insurance, and you know, your surgery's canceled because we're not going to insure this nurse because now we thought about it and we don't feel like it. Whatever nonsense the insurance companies throw at you.
Yeah. Yep.
So, all right. Well, so tomorrow is the last day, and we can certainly do another live tomorrow. And answer any more questions that you guys have, but it is the final day. So go to nursepreneurs.com/concierge nurses. If you want to join us in the next 90 days, you're going to have this business up and running. We will show you how to build it, how to do the back office, how to do the marketing. We will start your marketing. We are doing cold calling for you. We will come up with a list of 50 physician offices that you direct us to do. We will create your brand board. You can get a huge discount on websites if you want us to do your website as well. So check out everything we have at nursepreneurs.com/concierge nurses. What are the costs associated with this service, startup cost? What do you guys think?
I think it's minimal.
Very, very.
It's very minimal. I mean, you will have to spend some money, yes,
but not. Trying to think, I pay, you know, you have your monthly services, like if you decide to do QuickBooks or add any of that, which is actually pretty optional. And then your materials that you want to take around to physician's office, like your brochures and pamphlets. Other than that,
Well, I would say you have to
Insurance.
incorporate the business, right? And that's going to
Mhm.
cost you probably $200. The
Mhm.
domain name, if you're going to get a website, is going to cost you another $10 a year. Site hosting is going to cost you another $5-10 a month, or
Mhm.
$80 a year. You probably want to get a registered agent, which
Mhm.
will put uh, a a business address on
Yeah.
public information for you, so that you're not using your home
Your home
address.
address.
Yeah, and that's $50 a year. So what are we up to? I don't know, maybe $500
5
to
or
get
6.
all the legal stuff
Mhm.
done, the forms. Uh, a
Yeah.
lawyer is a big chunk of this.
Yeah.
So getting a lawyer to review contracts and all that kind of good stuff. We give you the templates.
Yes.
We do recommend that you have a lawyer look at them. That will probably cost between $500 and $1,000.
But that's cheaper than having them create one for you.
If they create it for you,
Oh
it'll
God.
cost you at least 2 to 3,000 if you
$1,000.
get a junior guy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. So cost is minimal. I think this is probably the least expensive business to start up that I've seen.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So, all right, guys. Well, let's do this again tomorrow. It'll be fun. So check out our website, nursepreneurs.com/concierge nurses, and join us. You have until tomorrow at 11 p.m. And we hope to see you in the group.
Yes.
Right.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.